Okay, let's see if you can hear me. Let's start there, right? Can you hear me? They're so annoying. They can't even make it so I could go live. It'd be heard. Anybody hear me? Blue Horseshoe, watch a Predator and Prey. Good. Predator and Prey. Yay. I just put out a video and on the JesusChristTrust.net, and that's what Blue Horseshoe is talking about there. I, yeah, good to be here. Great. Can you hear me? Okay. Can you hear me? The I just wonder if you can hear me. Just making sure. If you can't hear me, then that's tough. So, oh, that is such good news. Okay, so we're just gonna go on with the thing. Yeah, July 4th, this week. So I figure we're gonna talk about freedom. Okay, what's involved with that? How to achieve it? What it means? Um, but let's go over the first thing. Okay, and that is actually, I am going to read a quote here. I'm going to read a quote from Mayor Baba. It sparks of the truth about Mayor Baba. This is a quote. The process of getting bound and then unbound is charged with immense significance. The soul gets mixed up with the body and then gets caught up in it. The soul is like a parrot, and the body is like a cage. When the parrot was outside the cage, it was free, but it did not quite appreciate and enjoy freedom. When it goes through encagement, it appreciates through agonizing bondage exactly what freedom is. And when it is set free again, it really enjoys its freedom. The same thing happens to the soul when, through the grace of a master, it is freed from the limiting nightmare that it is its own perishable body. Okay. And so, that relates to um, the old uh, parable. Parable. Um, a parrot flies free in the jungle, right? Doesn't understand freedom, doesn't know anything about it, right? But you take that parrot and put it inside a cage, right? What's a parrot cage look like? It's got a dome on top and it's cage. You can't get near it, get outside. You put that parrot in a cage, right? And then later you open the door and let the parrot out. Now, when the parrot flies free in the jungle again, now it understands the concept of freedom. Okay? And not before that. You follow? Uh, what an interesting choice of bird, isn't it? First, we have to look at the choice of a bird for that metaphor, parable, and a quote. What is it about a parrot? What can a parrot do that other birds can't do? If you say words to it over and over and over and over, it starts to repeat those words, doesn't it? Just like a human. You say it over and over, and a human starts to repeat it as if it were true. If it's told something enough times or repeated enough, you know, uh, then it's true. Brady Bunch. If you grew up watching that stupid Brady Bunch, then you know that stupid song. You follow me, etc. They're getting us at an early age. Right from the jump. This is all pre-programmed. You're gonna say what they're. Go to school, stay in school, school. Right? What's a school of fish? They all look the same, exactly the same, no differences. A group, no one stands out. It's just a group of minnows, right? That's it. Just they're all exactly the same. So go to school, stay in school. Don't leave that school of fish. Don't do it. Right? You're a parrot. You're just repeating everything you're told as if you think it's true. Now let's talk about freedom. Okay, after that, um, how is it that you could be free if you still think you have been lied to about everything? You can't achieve freedom. You haven't seen your cage. You haven't float outside your cage because you think you've been told the truth from someone, anyone, ever in your life, on which you never have been. And until you figure that out, wow, how could you get free? How is that possible? Do you see what I'm saying? You haven't figured out that every single thing you've ever been told from absolutely the beginning of your lifetime has been a lie. Everything. Absolutely everything. There's no exception to that, you see? So what's our role? Oh, first we have to figure out, we're being lied to. Sovereign Queen, all right. We're talking about freedom, Sovereign Queen. So I'm going through the concept of freedom and what it means first, and then, we're going to talk about how to achieve it. But the point is, if you think you're free now, you don't understand a single thing about your reality. You don't understand a single thing. So, I mean, first let's look at the word, okay? Free dome, right? If you think you're not inside a dome, you can't be free. If you think you're not inside a physical cage right now, that you could never leave, right? How could you leave? No one could ever leave, right? If you don't think you're in that situation, in a matrix, inside a womb, inside a domed crystal dome, right? Christ crystal. If you don't think that, there's no hope for your freedom. There's right. There is no hope for you and your freedom. It's not possible. You see, a parent just says what is told, and then we're the kind of parent that what? You can't see the bars on your cage on the edge. It's the dome is just it goes off into the over the horizon, and it doesn't look like bars, right? It's just you open an aperture on a camera pointed at the North Star. It's all the circles around one point. The ceiling is simply spinning. A camera can show you that. You could look up, Google it right now. Click, click, click. Goes around the North Pole. Who's at the North Pole? Santa and the evils, right? Satan and the elves. Uh, so you don't even know you're in a dome prison. Who's running it? From where? What's going on? You don't know a single thing. You're still a parrot in a cage that they had trapped you in, but you haven't opened the cage yet. You see, you haven't opened a single level, layer, veil. You haven't gone through anything. You're still inside it. And so if you don't know you're in a cage, no way you can be free. If you think you're free, right, then you can't escape, to quote Wookie Foot, right? Wookie Foot song. Uh, really, if you think you're free, then you can't escape. If you think you're free, then you can't escape. You see, we're free. We're in America. We're free. Are you? What? Who? Who's free of what? What are you free from? A bill? No. Oh, okay. Are you free from name of freedom that's actually present, that exists? Just like, well, you see, it's just a concept. Freedom is something that is inherent. A liberty, right? I say Liberty Aid Academy, right? A liberty is something that's granted, right, by the one in charge. Here's your liberty, right? Freedom is a completely separate thing. It's inherent. It exists uh, outside of the jurisdiction that currently exists, right? If you look, it was, oh my God, maybe this is a good quote here. We looked this up too. Oh my God, somebody, Oliver posted something so good. I was probably saying your name, but it was really, really good. What? Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna read this. This is so good. Uh, so, that's what. Ha, 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 ha. Sorry, this is gonna take a minute. Oh, okay, here it is. It's a quote of the Bible, Galatians 4:9 through 10. This is number 4. Okay. Yeah. Christ has become of no effect unto you. Whosoever of you are justified by the law, ye are fallen from grace. Okay. And that's really the essence of this trust. Okay. Signing of this trust. That's the essence of it right there. Christ has become of no effect on you. It don't matter whether you sign this document only, right? If you still think signing this trust and getting outside their jurisdiction is up to them, well, you're not outside their jurisdiction. Do you see what I'm saying? You create this trust. You're now side with the devil, right? In God we trust. We be 33, the devil, right? It's not Jesus, so it's not Allah. It's not, you know, it's not it's not Krishna. It's not Ram. It's not, it's none of the good ones you can name. It's not them. It's we, right? Spin a W, spin a E33. It's really, Judgment Day, the end of time. They worship, the Lord of this world, the Old Testament God of this world, the devil. That's, you know, everyone in the government does, almost everyone here, right? Except for 7,000 won't kneel to Baal, and only 7,000 humans here. The rest are fallen angels. That's just our reality. That's the reality that we're inside of. So if you yeah, thank Blue Horseshoe. Thank you. Yeah. Anyway, so um, you have to understand actually, hey, I've been lied to, and you were like, wait a minute, I think I voted, but you know, how do I know? With the vote counting hoax, you can vote. Voting is real. Oh yeah, push the thing. That's real. That they count them up, that's not real. Because are you a trustee of the In God We Trust? You're not. Who's the one that decides things for a trust? A trustee. Are you a trustee of that trust? You aren't. Neither am I. So we don't get a vote that counts. You can vote all day long. It just doesn't count because you're not a trustee. I mean, how simple is that? You That's all it is. That's all there is to it. You see, you're trustee of a trust, right? You're the one that decides that trust. Well, you're not trustee of the guy we trust. You don't decide any of that. So you have to understand that there are only two laws here, really two bodies of law, right? The Old Testament, right? You work for the devil in the New Testament. Work for the guy that got nailed to a tree. That's it. Super simple. There is no other option. There's not going to be another option. The time loop is never going to change. I'm sorry if this is difficult information for people, but it shouldn't be, because the truth sets you free. I mean, the only thing when I found out all this truth is like, God, just kill me again, right? Kill me again forever, please. Just get me out of here. Who wants to be around these creepy creatures in here? Not me. Like, I get it. Okay. Oh, well, okay. I got to stay and help people. Okay. How can I help people? I can't, actually. Only God can help you. And I can give you the truth that, oh, hey, this is the way it is. You see, only someone that knows and that has proof of how they got the knowledge could help anyone. No one else could help anyone because they're still, they don't have any truthful information. They haven't had the experiences, you know, that have led them to the truth. So they can't know yet. So they can hear, from someone that does know, and then they can go, oh, I see how that is. And then you can start to act on that truth. But intellectual knowledge does not do anything to change your karma. It doesn't. Knowing something has nothing to do. I mean, quote, knowing something. The only way you know anything and get judged for anything is by doing something, right? Do unto others. Do actions, karma, right? The law is dharma or common law, right? And so what happens? Your actions produce a result, karma. That's it, okay? So but the truth is the only thing that can set you free, because up until then you're what are you basing your choices on, your actions on? A fantasy, fairy tale, something you were told that isn't true. So what happens to your karma? It's a mess, right? You had you have a good heart, but you don't have anything up here, right? You don't know what's going on. We have to equal them. We have to balance the head and the heart. You see, they have to become balanced. And when they become balanced, then you act properly. And then you don't create any more karma one way or the other. You see, oh, I know what's up. I'm not gonna, it's like walking on the carnival, right? All the carnies are over there, they're running all their games and everything. And, horrible stuffed animals and just the worst prizes that ever have been made, right? And you're like at the game looking at the games like, oh, that should be fun. It's like, well, you're just gonna lose. They're gonna take your money. We're gonna get it. Best case is super crappy, piece of junk that you got to carry around and throw away when you get home, basically. So that's all there is here. And so, what's the best thing to do at a carnival? Like, don't stop at those things. Maybe they have some good food. Maybe they have some good food nearby or something. You know, but you can learn from their actions. The carnies. You could learn from them. Learn not to play the games anymore and learn to go for the truth. Well, they're pretty good at their individual games. I can watch me climb a ladder that's you can't. Watch me throw a ball into a circle. You can't. Watch me play baseball, and I'm a pro baseball player. I'm a I, how many hundreds of millions of lifetimes did you play baseball until you got that good at it? And that's what you spent your time on? That's weak. You know what I mean? That's weak, weak. So this is really freeing. See, a parrot is just, we're the parrot in the cage. So a parrot is just repeating, 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 repeating until it knows the truth. It's just gonna repeat the lies. Still, oh, you're stuck. So you have to, realize, oh, this is a mental battle. This is, they're trying to play on our soft heart. They're telling us all these lies and controlling us. We want to remove their control. So I don't, the stuff I do at Liberty Aid Academy, and I've been doing for over a decade now, which works for everyone, uh, with proof, right? There's no other account with any proof. There's no other financial advisor or expert. There, not a single one exists in America with proof. I'm the only one. You ever looked it up? They post their driver's license, their passport, their unredacted social security card with a number, their credit cards, like 20, 30 of them, the EIDL loan, you know, get, get, I mean, it's just, I could go on and on and on, but I mean, all I do is post proof. If someone cared about their life and the truth, they would, oh, there's an expert. Let me see if they have done what I'm trying to do. And then instead of just spouting, "Oh, you do it like this," well, where's your proof you done it? You see what I'm saying? A parrot, "Oh, if you said it, well, I'll just repeat it." That's a parrot, right? But human is supposed to go, "Well, here comes these thoughts, whether they're sent in my head or someone's standing next to me saying a bunch of stuff is true. I heard your claim." But see, here's the difference. This is the way I roll, right? And this is the way a human being would roll instead of one of these creepy creatures. You show your proof first. If you care about anyone, why share anything with anyone without proof? Honestly, just what's wrong with you? Really, everything else is just a waste of my time. Don't talk about things that you heard and didn't experience. Talk about something you figured out that you experienced. Otherwise, how is that helping anyone? Do you see? So you go, oh, this is, I'm pulling a credit card. Look, this has a trust on it. See, here's an outcome, right? Anyone start with proof in a conversation? I just never seen it. You know what I'm saying? And it's not. It's a human quality, but it's not a second species quality, right? That's everyone but 7,000 in here are fallen angels. They know the second species, right? Second species. And the predators are what? The greatest predator, right? Looks exactly like its prey. And I mean exactly. Right? Isn't that camouflage perfection? If you're just one of them, then you just, you know, and if especially what's the greatest predation, right? If you have learned to feed off your prey without killing them, you just keep them forever, you know? The vampires are keeping us alive to suck our blood. It's like, oh, great. That's great to know. Let's suck our, spiritual energy, which is infinite. That's really what they're doing, like in the Matrix. You know, we're just we we're their purpose for life. Do you get that? We're their only purpose. They don't serve another purpose. They're on a tape loop. They don't have any intelligence, no creativity. Their script is already predetermined. Their role, where they live, the house, what they will eat, what they will drive, what steps they will take, what they will do on every single day, what music they will listen to, what books they will read, what they will know. Everything is predetermined in their life every single lifetime, and they'll never have like a thought themselves. It won't occur. It won't ever occur. Do you understand? Do you see that in them? In the ones that are keeping us from being free, these are their qualities of their existence that don't match our existence. They look exactly like us, and I mean exactly. They look like humans. They're not. They can take a human form. They're not. Right? Their soul is, it's not gonna move forward unless one of the 7,000 gets Christ consciousness and makes a space, and one of them can move over to the human status. One. And guess what? We were them. So, how long did it take us to get here? To have this conversation? Billions of lifetimes. Not just as a human, right? As a tree and a rock and a cloud and every other thing before we even became a human. It took all that work to get here. I have this conversation. I get you to be like, okay, are you a parrot in a cage? Well, you're in a cage, okay? But have you realized that everything you're told is a lie? So why would you be repeating it? You see what I'm saying? I say, why is Polly saying, Polly, what a cracker, Polly, what a cracker, Polly, what? Why is it happening? What is making you, the parrot, say, Polly, want a cracker? What are the forces that work to train you, the parrot, to say, Polly, what a cracker? What were they? How could you prevent them from having control over you from now on? You see? And only someone that has beat it could tell anyone how to beat it. And they got to have proof. And I mean, a million miles of proof, like I got. You see? Or else what? Don't listen to them. It's just fairy tales. Listening to people without proof is what? That ain't going to get you anywhere. That's not the truth. So the truth sets you free. But your fairy tales just keeps you trapped. Okay? So we're in a physical, magical dome that somehow the air gets clean every day in this terrarium, a closed environment. The water gets clean twice a day with the tides. Who knows how? What? If you don't see everything around you as an absolute miracle, because they're coincidence theorists, aren't they? Oh, everything just happens. It just happens. The tide goes in and out twice a day. It just happens because the moon said so. With the moon, which is hell, right? Sun, heaven. Anyway, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it happens precise. Everything's this precise, you know, uh, time thing. It's like a watch. Everything we see and everything that happens is based on time here, an unchanging time. It never changes. It's already predetermined. And so they remember their past lifetimes. They know every stock that's going to go up. They know every stock that's going to go down on the dates, everything. They know about 9/11. They know 9/11 is the start and end date and the middle date. They know it all. They know all of it. The things that you're learning, they know. Sorry, I got some water here. So Yes, this is a financial issue, because they want money from us, but it's really a spiritual issue. And then, once you realize they've been lying to us our whole life, controlling us, and we're their actual slaves, because what? Debt is fake. How could the country, for one, have debt? Just what are you talking about? Okay, because here, uh, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, right? Here's the concept, the con. We're told about what a country is, right? We're told what? Okay, you select by vote a certain number of managers who manage all the resources and all the people in the places for a country. Okay, they're our managers. They represent us, right? We can't do it ourselves. We're too stupid, but you got to do it for us. But you're going to watch over everything for us. So what did you do? All the land was free. It was ours, and we give it to you. And it was all free. We owned it free and clear, the whole place. Everybody could have a home. Everybody piece of land. Everybody, it's all free. Right? It's free. Choose a government. It's all free. It's all, nobody owns it. You see what I say? Nobody owns a single plot of land at that point. It's all free. The whole place. Not every place in every city, every town, everything free. New government, everything's free. Nobody owes anybody anything. And so you're the government of the place that's free. So all these resources, timber, gold, the more, petroleum, gas, or whatever than anywhere else in the whole, anywhere here in the US, more gold, more everything right here. And so what did our managers do? Let's continue with the idea of a country, right? They gave away all the free stuff to themselves, right? And so we didn't get any, nothing. Did you get any? I didn't get nothing. And so you didn't get anything. They took it all for themselves, and they just take it for themselves. They took everything for themselves, and then they said, as our managers of our wealth, the place, right, all the resources, everything, as the managers, we stole it all, and you have to pay us now. That's our management that we are supposed to have hired to manage the resources. Sold it, stole it all, didn't leave any for us. Not a single tree, not a single, blade of grass, no dirt, not a speck of dirt. Nothing. It's all theirs. They stole 100% of it. And then they invented a Ponzi scheme where they just make up money and got we trust notes. They have a trust. Here's pieces of paper you have to use, or else we're going to kill you. We're going to murder you. That's it. You have to use them, or we're going to murder you. That's it. So that's not slavery, though. That's a demonocracy, right? That's a demonocracy. That's where the demons of human form hate the 7,000 humans and treat them this way and take everything for themselves and make us pay, and pay after they stole everything. So you think you're free, huh? You see, because until you talk about your absolute slavery, right? You're absolutely a slave. There is no doubt about that, right? You go, how does money created? There's no other method except for, okay, you lend me money. Money's created that. They didn't have an asset. They didn't sign a document, right? Lending is slavery. Enforced slavery with a military, a police force, guns and weapons and all that. You will pay or we will kill you. We throw you out on the street and take everything you own, put you in a cage, and we'll kill you on the side if we have to if you don't listen. That's them. That's our government. That's a demonocracy. That is absolutely them. That is an accurate description. That's just 100% true. Truly enjoy your laugh. Oh, good. Right? No, but here, and let's get to that, okay? Because let's talk about beating them. How you beat them. right? Yeah, no, it could be hard. It could be difficult because you're like, wait, they have all these powers. What is, you know what I mean? Like your evil meter just went boop, it broke. It's like I gotta go past infinity. Pew pew, right? You're like, what? You know, they're doing this on purpose. Your infinity meter of evil just pew. Yeah, 100% evil, right? You're like, what? Yeah. So it's like, wait, and this is intentional, right? This is God made a game that's intentionally evil, and we're the ones playing the game. That's correct. That's correct. And so, you know, when you're playing Super Mario Brothers or whatever, it's just, hey, give me the cheat code. A B B B B B A B C. Click left, right, up, boom. I'm out of here. Right? Give me to the last thing and out. Cheat code. That's what we need up on them. And there are cheat codes, or else we're screwed. We're We've been screwed the whole time. How could you not continue to be screwed if you don't get some cheat codes? Right? Seriously. And so that's my role. Oh, I beat the game. God keeps me in a body. Oh, the worst, right? The worst. Worse than the worst. Because now I know I'm back in here on purpose and I won the game. What? Hey, God reminded me, oh, did you say you do anything? I was like, I did. He's like, well, enjoy, have a good time, get back in there. Oh, right. Because at some point, everybody's life is so horribly miserable. You're finally like, hey, God, if you're real, if you get me out of this jam, I'll work for you. And then God's like, oh, but wait to hear that miracle bang. And you're right out, like, you know, 2 seconds later, you're like, and you connect the dots. You're like, oh, man, probably going to call on that one, right? Probably gonna call on that one. I'll do anything. Ouch. Oh, go back in the dome. Oh, I didn't say anything, but I didn't mean to go back in the dome. Oh, okay. Great. No problem. Right. So no, but that's the thing, you know, you I did talk about it in this video in the predator and the prey stuff. You see, you know, they're they're predators. They have knowledge of this whole time loop and abilities that you and I don't have. We used to have, but oh, you're gonna play the game again. You earned your feathers. You earned your wings. You were a perfect angel. You listened to God's orders. You did everything it said. And then one day you're given an order. You're like, whoa, murder who? That baby right there. And you just something in you in your heart like awakened instead of just did orders for God. And then you didn't do an order of God when it was just seemed like that's impossible. That would be good. What is that? Ego over God. Whoops. Pow. Bang. Lose your wings. In the dome. You go. You're one of them. And that's what we used to be. But then you earn your feathers and wings back by, oh, okay, God knows. So I got to be a carny up in here forever. And then if you follow the rules and keep it quiet and do your thing, ultimately a million, billion, jillion, quadrillion, billion years later, you get your memory wiped to play the game because that's what a place might open up because it'll be forever. And it's also merit based. So it's forever. Plus, if you screw up, go back. Oh, man. Talk about, you know what I mean, service. You know, like you have to understand this. Why am I saying this? Because if you don't understand what you're up against, how are you going to beat it? You see what I'm saying? Like the level that they're put through. You see what I'm saying? Our adversaries. Did you hear what I just said? Like you have to follow orders for billions of lifetimes or you're screwed. You see what I'm saying? You have to do it and then you have to not do it and then you have to come back to doing it before you even get a chance to be a human to play this game. It's so hard. It's impossible. So everyone knows you who's watching you. And yet they're still, you know, have to do what they have to do to you to keep it fair. So that's what we're up against. You see, so the solution, I knew all this. You see how like, oh, I won the game, so now I need a solution. Who's going to find out a solution? Me? No, God has to tell me. Holy Spirit. How would I know? It's not my game, right? I'm a performer. right? We have to, thoughts from God have to come in, or else what? Called the Holy Spirit, whatever. Who's the messenger of God? Gabriel, the angel. So unless you're getting messages from Gabriel, you're not going to know what to do. So you have to, your consciousness has to be removed from their consciousness. It has to go over to God. That's to happen, or else you can't leave, because you can't know the truth. You can't know what to do unless you're, you know, this is a mental game. You have to kick them out of your mind, realize we don't create thoughts or memories, right? Right? We can just pop in here at any time. We have right now, and you better work on it today. Do you know what's happening tomorrow? you know, and things are going to get better. I mean, no, 3 years of kind of crappy until we hit the woes of 7 years. I mean, you know, if in the game, these last 7 years are called the woes, I mean, that kind of speaks for itself. It ain't get better, you know? It's going to be what? Unless something bad happens to you, God can be like, "Hey, oh God, help!" There are no, what do they say? There are no atheists in foxholes, right? You know what I mean? So it's part of the game that, uh, you have to have absolute horrible trauma and lose everything, or else you're not going to find God, because you're going to be like, "Oh my God, help!" You're the last one, last refuge. This is not going to happen. Okay. Question. We here in the US could get to this knowledge on how to achieve Christ consciousness and leave the dough. How about the rest of the world? Are there more people like you in other continents? No, there aren't actually at this moment. There are not. Uh, if you read Bear Baba there, he said there are five perfect masters, right? Always, and there are. But he also said those five perfect masters are the ones that do the work to bring Christ into here, to bring in the avatar, to bring in God. You see what I'm saying? Into a human form. Then it's 7,001. I'm that one. So the five, right, that know everything about the game, running stuff spiritually and stuff, if it starts at the jump, that's them. You follow me? That's them. Can a human come along and take their spot? I done it. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm 7,001. One of them five loses their slot. I take the high slot. You follow? But now, can another human take one of those slots? Man, I've been in different places in the world. I ain't seen no courage anywhere. I just haven't witnessed it myself. I haven't witnessed spiritual courage. You know what I mean? Everyone thinks they know something and they know nothing. That's all they witness. I've been to India. Met with, saints and the ones who's supposed to know it, everything like that. I haven't seen a shred of knowledge, not a single iota of any information that I have. I didn't learn from no one. I never talked to a single human awake on any of these topics, not ever. Never. I did from experience and then from knowledge coming to me, looking at something, be like, how could, because you really have to go during your day and just be like, if you're walking along the beach like I do, like shark's teeth, okay, that's a lie, what we're told about them. What do they actually mean? And then you begin to figure it out. And that's how do shells happen? And then how you figure that out? And the manatee, what is that? Because every single thing we're told is a lie. So then you see through patterns, through your life and through experience, and the patterns of the things that are around you, you begin to put together what is actually happening. You see what I'm saying? Instead of listening to what we're told, because that's BS, what are the things, creatures, and the objects doing near us? What are we seeing them do? They start saying, "Oh, that's happening, that's happening, that's happening." Oh, that makes sense, and then that would be that. You know, and it's never based on what they're saying. Not not a single thing. It's a rejection of everything we're told. You're not a parrot in a cage anymore, right? You must think. You must determine that everything is lying. Then you must begin at that moment You never have before. You never have before. You have to agree everything's a lie. And that moment, you begin your freedom. Never before. You begin to say, oh, my mind is free of the BS. It's gone because it's all BS. So you're like, let me start putting things in here that might be true instead. We start thinking about what is in my reality and thinking what is actually going on. That's the beginning of the process of freedom right there, where you reject everything in your entire society that you've been told. Everything, every bit of culture, every bit of knowledge, you reject every single thing down to the last crumb, all of it. And then you begin to see, okay, what's actually true? If you don't take that step, you'll never be free of a single thing, not ever. And they never will be because they'll never do that. So they're not programmed to do that. They're in a thought loop. It's a concept of a bicameral mind, meaning that if a tape loop is set into a body with enough consciousness to keep the body running and stuff like that, and to think thoughts and stuff like that, eventually that entity that is receiving all that will eventually become sentient and have a thought on its own, which is what's happening by God's grace. You see, God wakes us up by experience. By experience, you have to experience being a rock. Okay, now you know what a rock is. Go be a tree, and so on and so on and so on. Now go be a human and experience what that is. You have to be what you are when you are that. You're not a tape loop. You're not whatever they say. You are what you are in that moment. And you're experiencing this reality, which is a bunch of BS, everything we've been told. So you have to figure out what's going on, how to figure out how to beat it. You see? The thought loop is shown on Westworld. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's so oh man, it's so to realize to look yourself in the mirror and be like, oh, I'm not this body. I'm not, I've been how many times I've been into this body. How many times have what is this is it's a little too much, isn't it? It's like, and then you be like, somebody hate me or something, you know what I mean? Because hatred doesn't last that long, does it? Right? Like love lasts a long time, really, for a human if you have a heart, right? And we have a heart. The humans have a heart. Love is what differentiates us from them. They're just under orders trying to improve their situation. We work upon our heart, and they feed upon our soft heart until we gain the knowledge and equalize these two. Be like, okay, 6 feet's a good idea. Back you go, right? 6 feet, off you go, right? Or I'll call him by God's name, and then you'll have to go 6 feet. Can you describe the gas states of consciousness during evolution? Well, I mean, yeah, pretty easily because you kind of experience it. Okay, what's the gas state? It's the closest state to unconsciousness, right? Because this whole thing is created because if you don't ask the question why and answer it, why is this reality happening? Why, right? If you don't answer that properly, you where you have no foundation of truth, because that's has to be accurate, and then everything has to sync up with it, or else you got nothing. So let's do that first, the why. And Mayor Baba, was the first one and last one, the only one I ever seen that wrote it down right and succinctly and exactly correctly. I never seen it not before or after written down properly. And it is God, right, is in the unconscious state. This is how our reality started. This is the description, okay, and the reasoning behind it. God in the unconscious state, who is everything that existed, formless, non-formless, is one God. There's nothing outside of God, and God, it was just that. That state of God had a whim. Fan sea, right? Waves on a sea happen because the fan, right? Air, motion came upon the sea, right? Someone fanned the sea and waves occurred in the ocean, right? This is the description that God uses, Bear Baba uses. So it fanned the sea. It was a fancy, a whim or a fancy, right? Something happened. Wind occurred on the water and waves occurred in the consciousness of God. You see, in that consciousness of God wanted to know itself. What am I? How? The cage was created. This whole physical reality at that second that God wanted to know self because what? This is the not self. There was no mirror for God to look in and say, "What? Oh, I'm not what I'm not." Right? Because only do you follow? God made this cage for Himself to go into the cage, right? Like Mir Baba, we used to go to cave and meditate and stuff like that, and then come out with knowledge, right? Pow! Oh, I know something. Yeah, that's how God learns everything. We're in a cage. God is figuring out, oh, I'll learn by, you know, being a Swami in the Himalayas in a cage. Wait, I'll make it harder. I'll be in a cage you can't see in a city. Oh my God, that's harder. That's what happened. God wanted to know self. So the ocean, right? We're in a bubble in the ocean, right? See, the blue ocean is black at night when there's no light. Okay, that's the physical form of God. And of course, God is way more than that, obviously. But we're in a bubble in the ocean is still the ocean. You see, how is a bubble in the ocean not part of the ocean? That's not possible, right? A bubble is on a wave. That's still part of the ocean. It's not part of the air. That bubble is the ocean. And if a drop, here goes the ocean, a wave crashes on the beach. Psh, there goes drops, right? Those drops right there. Are they still the ocean? Yeah, they are. They're the ocean. They're gonna fall back and be the ocean again. That's us, the drops. Do you see? We're just drops of the ocean. We're drops of God's consciousness that God sent into the not God form to find out what it is like to be a prisoner, right? And then comes back ultimately to that state of God with the knowledge of what freedom is. This is you, not that, not that dumb crap. That's not you. This is you. This is God. You see, you reunite with God, and then, you know what I mean? It's indescribable. It's not describable. But anyway, so uh I that's a general how I figure I'd address the why, but now let me go right back to your question, the gas state. So knowing that, right? Each night when you go to sleep, you enter the state, the original state of God, the unconscious state. Every time you sleep, take a nap, go to sleep at night, every single time you go back into the unconscious state of God. Eventually, you have dreams and stuff like that, and there's a consciousness awaking in that not conscious state of God, isn't there? Oh, I had a dream. I'm working out my part of my consciousness that's awake is now happening in my sleep state. Oh, okay. But only at certain times and a little bit like that, right? Okay. I never dream. Once you reach my level, dreams never happen. Not ever. I never dream. Never. I don't have any dreams, not ever, never, never, not for years. Never dream. Never, never, never. Because what I'm conscious, right? I don't have an unconscious state of God's state anymore. I'm conscious. I'm always conscious. Like it'll freak my wife out that like even if she gets near me doing whatever, like picking up something off my bed, or if I'm in a nap or something, if she gets near me, I will just open my eyes and see her. She'll be like, "What the heck? You're asleep?" I'm like, "No, I'm always conscious. Even if I'm asleep, I'm still conscious." Uh, anyway, so the gas state, your question, uh, Alan. Oh, Alan. Okay, I didn't see your hand. What a great question, Alan. Oh, is much like that state that we enter in sleep. That's the answer to your question. That's what got me going. Man, Ali, you're this guy. This is a sleeper until you talk with this guy, Alan. This is a super smart individual. I just want to let you know. Thank you for being here, Alan. Thank you for that question. A great question. I had that thought myself too. What was it like to be a cloud? Because you got to think about what clouds are. Hey, you get off of that cloud, right? The thoughts and clouds go together. Do you see what I'm saying? So I won't go too far down that cloud place, but I think I've given enough on that tonight. Uh, how many times have I done this? You think about it every day. Smart lady, smart lady. No, thank you, Alan, for a great question. See, I don't actually get to know everything consciously until a servant of God has a question that's relevant to their situation to ask that. Big, because I'm not disconnected from the Holy Spirit. So, oh, you need to know this for that. Oh, here's the answer. Because the spiritual hierarchy has to be real, or it isn't. You see what I'm saying? Like you have to earn your position, which is good news because you move on, and so position becomes vacant, and you could take a position. Oh, hierarchy is real and it's action based. Cool. I can get out of here. You see? So let's get into right now. That's talking about the slavery we're up against, how to get out of it, right? So this is a spiritual war. Like the financial stuff, yeah, that's real, 100%. We got to deal with it. And living in a body and all this stuff and the spiritual thing, they all go together. So it's like, how do we solve this? There's too many factors going together. Oh, okay. Well, we solve it by how are we enslaved? Accountant, right? Uh, I never helped anyone with their taxes, not ever. Uh, but I was an auditor. Okay, so you look at the books and so on and you see what's going on. So what I did was like, how are we enslaved? You know what I mean? What are they using? They have to be using some financial system and stuff like that. And if I can figure that out, maybe there's a way out. Because that's what accountants are like, okay, what is the system that's working for them? How, what's the method to get out? That's all. Okay, so found the got we trust. I'm like, like, oh, we could use a trust. Okay. So see that the God we trust, it keeps us physically enslaved and the money enslaves us. It's also the name of the devil. I mean, it all goes together. It's so easy. I'm like, oh, what? Everyone knows you can sell your soul to the devil. They just don't know when it's already sold. Whoops. You know, they just don't know. So, but I was like, oh, so it's like, okay, that solves all the things. Do you see? That solves all the thing. It checks all the boxes, right? It gets the money away from them. It gets out of their jurisdiction. It goes along with the Bible. It goes along with the spiritual solution. It goes along with everything, of which I could go through. And I mean, we don't have that much time left, but basically, the financial thing, it gets the same status, right? Who would the in God we trust pay taxes to, right? It's the top of the heap. Every currency is tied to the dollar into the in God we trust, so that's at the top. So the trick is, oh, if I side with Jesus, I'm at the top too. Cool, uh, you know, different jurisdictions. So anyone that sides over here solve the uh, spiritual dilemma. Okay, you still have to act upon it, right? You don't act like their laws apply or nothing like that. You're respectful, and you try and show them through their laws. Hey, you know what I mean? You could be fair and honest. You could do that. They never do it. So in the end, you just don't go their way with the laws and stuff unless you're taking their money or something like that. Following rules to get some money from them, assets, whatever. But eventually you realize it's all just a hoax. Winning in court, I've been there 50 times in court cases I initiated. And that's only the ones I initiated. I've been there, on criminal stuff too. For the smallest piddly stuff, I had literally a run of, I counted it up one time. I had a run of 36 months in a row. Every single month I had a court date. That wasn't the ones I initiated. That was before the 50 I started. Can, can you imagine if you lived through that experience? I'm going to tell you, you can't imagine it. It's impossible. See, God had to step in to save me. Otherwise, yeah, what? It would have been a stain on the road so long ago. So long ago. Give me a break, right? So anyway, getting free of this trust is like, oh, okay. It checks all the boxes, it solves all the problems, and it brings conscious awareness to the actual truth of the situation. Oh, there's two basic teams here, and now I moved from that team over to this team, and it's a whole different, much simpler set of rules. Two sets of right, love God and uh, you know, treat your brothers and sisters as you would yourself. If they're acting like an idiot, mention it to them, right? If they're being sweet, be sweet to them. That's what I would expect someone would do to me if I was acting like a complete ass and trying to make slaves of everybody. I think somebody would mention that to me. Hey, you probably don't want to do that because 10 years from now, you're going to hell. I tell them all the time, right to their face. They're like, what are you going to do about it? Literally, I'll pray for you now. Ah! they run off. That's all we have. Anyway, so that's how we win. When we switch our affiliation over to this trust, they won't mess with our money. They won't mess with our assets. They won't mess with our wife and our children. They won't mess with our loved ones. They, you know what I mean? Anyone that signs and follow them two rules, it's good on the money. It's good on spiritual. It's good on physically. Can't get messed with. It's good on the assets that are in the trust. They can't touch them and get on the property, and they can't mess with them. Everything's good. You see, I had to come up with a solution that solved all the things at once. And the way to do it was look how they were enslaving us. Oh, they're doing it with the trust. Okay, so that means we can get out the same way. And that's all there is to it. That's actual freedom. You get out of the, oh, you're out of my head. You're out of my assets. You're out of my physical life. I'm going to rely on God. You're like, I'm a gun collector. I'm not. I was just saying, suppose somebody was. Go throw all your guns in the trash. Oh, there they go to the trash can. Because otherwise, if you keep a single thing that is against what you would trust to your soul and everything to God, saying God is more powerful than anyone and everything. If you got stuff in your house or whatever, in the house of the trust, which is the house of God, because you owe nothing now, right? You owe nothing. You gave it all back to here you go, including my soul. There you go. If you have anything around you that doesn't match that reality, those are anchors, right? Oh, I got an old set of tarot cards or whatever. No, trash can, right? God will tell you straight to your head everything you need to know. Put it in the trash, right? You have an image of God. That's it. You don't need anything else. You have the name of God, an image of God. You don't need a single other thing. You work for God. You need a hard work ethic, to stay alive and work for God. And it's not going to be easy, but uh, completely at that point, you're under the mercy of God and not at the mercy of the fake laws and the fake system and the fake justice and all the, not a single thing on the news is true except for, oh, one of our committees that we made up is having a bake sale. Oh, okay. Maybe that's true, on the news, if they ever say that kind of thing anymore. Oh, there's a concert tonight at 7 p.m. Probably true. Anything else they say true? Is that the score of the baseball game? Okay, yeah, but who cares about baseball? I mean, come on, right? America's pastime. I'm going to do a video on the baseball thing here because they got it on. It's so, pastime from the past. From the time past, it never happened. Anyway, uh, we did, really. So if you're a slave and you get it, right? It's actually, you know, against the your heart, right? It's as a human, right? Because there are only 7,000 here. The rest are fallen angels. So no more. It's a you won't kneel to the devil, right? It's in the Bible. If you're listening to me, you won't kneel. You won't kneel to the devil. You won't do it. So, you know, that just means you have to take it all the way. You see, or you're here. You're doomed to repeat and repeat and repeat forever, unless you do something about it. Like you have to not kneel only to your God, not to theirs. You don't kneel to the devil. They of course they do. How do they get their house? How do they get YouTube views? How do they get anything? Anything. Their job, their house, how do they get a single anything? Nothing happens for them. Not one single thing outside of the devil giving it to them. And you think they don't know that. That's what we're up against. A single consciousness like hornets, like a hornet nest. You know what I mean? Like they have a queen hornet or whatever, right? Talk about a angry bunch, right? Just want to murder you. Uh, and they're in the hornet hive. How you going to take out the hornet hive? You got to get to the queen hornet. How you going to get to them through all them other hornet? Hey, it could have happened, right? No way. Unless they can't sting you and stuff like that, unless they're powerless or whatever. But if you swat that hornet's nest, know they're going to be right there. They watch. If you do the math, if there are 1 billion of them and there are 7,000 of us, and you divide 1 billion by 7,000, I think I've done that once. So I think it's like 2,400. Maybe that's what it is. If I remember right, I'm not going to do the math, but if you do that, I think that's what it is. That means each of the 7,000 humans has permanently 2,400 individual angels attached to them that are every single being around them for their entire lifetime. Of course, it's rare when a human gets near another human. It doesn't hardly ever happen. Almost never happens. Think about it. It's always us around them trying to be kind of kept away from the other humans. You just see what I'm saying? Because we are so rare, you know what I mean? So rare and we're absolutely ultimately looking for the same thing at this high uh spiritual karmic awareness, even though our memory's wiped. Who we are is who we are. You see what I'm saying? When you go to sleep at night and you wake up again the next morning, you're you. You weren't you. You were. Where'd you go? Right? Consciousness is never lost. You see, even if our memory gets wiped, consciousness is never lost. You see, who you are is never going to be erased at death. Nothing can stop consciousness. Nothing can prevent it from retaining what it is. You could fall back and keep your consciousness. Oh, they use miracles and stuff in an evil way. They go back to a stone state, retaining their consciousness as they're a tree or whatever. Can you imagine? That's what they are up in here. That's what everything is them falling backwards into these things around us. That's them. Everything around us. Everything. The animals, the trees, the rocks, everything. Everything is a human form condensed. You should look into it. Like first we're you know, I mean, you're in the air, then you make it down to the water state, then you're land. Anyway, the same thing happens with all the forms, right? With the animal forms and stuff. Eventually, you're a worm, then you're like a lizard, and off you go through all the forms, right? First, your head, you're a tree, so your head is in the ground. Then your head is, when your animal is like, you know, your head is like at the same level as the rest of your body, then eventually, you get to be human, your head is on top. So your chakras line up the right way instead of the wrong way. That's where we have double rainbows, right? We have both things going on. One rainbow, the first rainbow is the one where everything's upside down, and the other rainbow, the double rainbow, the colors switch, of course, and then that's where everything's right side up. That's what's happening here. Our chakras, we're being realigned through all the forms. The rainbows explain exactly what's going on here and what we're inside, right? Anyway, uh, that's how the spiritual is linked up with the financial, and why the trust gets us out of this is because it got us into this. The God we trust got us into it. So signing your own trust gets us out of it. Do you follow? But it also solves everything else financially as well. There's nothing. This is I talk. My talk is way more complex and difficult and ongoing than actually the doing. It's very simple. You sign a trust, open a bank account, everything's cool in there, build credit over there, all your money's fine. No more paying taxes, no more reporting taxes. The simplicity of doing this is gives you time to pursue the truth. You see? So anyway, freedom is up to you as an individual. You have to find somebody that has it, listen to what they're saying, and act upon that truth. And this crew that's in here is working on that, and good for you. And you're getting far, as I see things. Anyway, there we go. Good hour. Thanks for the a few items. Going to basically double the price of courses and so on here August 1st. We're just um, we're very hidden, and so we're gonna break up some courses and add some courses and so on in a different way, and we're gonna shorten time in school to like be in school for a year. We're gonna operate more like a school, so that we're not giving so much of ourselves, or we can help the people that are here that need help. We really have to focus on it. And we're going to split our courses up into more ongoing courses. I'm going to make some new courses um, that will be very helpful. Yes, I already have the knowledge, but I'm just going to put them into course form so it's an option for you to, do ongoing training at what you're doing. It'll be helpful. But if you want to get into the trust, hey, get in the courses now. Please. I'm just trying to give you a hand here before we get into August, because we got big changes coming August 1st. Okay. Anyway, thanks for your support. Look for me if you're into the spiritual stuff. I focus on that on JesusChristTrust.net. That's completely donation based. Any donations, keep it going. Uh, the people that have donated, I mean, a certain few have donated so that that thing actually can stay open. And I thank you for that, because otherwise I wouldn't have gotten this far. And I'm going to keep going further because I need to get face to face with people out there um, in America. Like, I just kind of got to the thing where only miracles are going to help people. If I perform miracles, obviously God does miracles, and I'm just a performer. You know what I mean? But if you know what the conditions are to, you know, help someone with a miracle, like through, getting the demon out of them, deliverance, or uh, whatever is a good word for, get that out, and get some video of that and so on. Even if you're not the one, uh, get what do they call that? Exercised, right? Even if you're not the one having that happen to you, if you're standing there nearby and you're watching it, it's real for you too. There's no other explanation. And if you're watching a real video of that, well, how do you? I can't fake any that. I'm kind of CGI or, demon ether to make up. Look at my budget. I'm sitting in my bedroom in a trailer. My God, like, it's so hard to fight these creatures. They make it so difficult. I mean, I squeak through. I don't make money on any of the projects I'm doing. I don't. I barely make it. Destroy my credit, maximize it, take everything I can get for, pour it all back in to save the souls. That's all I do. So the support that people give me over there, that's all I'm gonna, do is continue with that, and things are ramping up to do more of that at this point. So thank you for that support. If you're into the more spiritual stuff, go over there. We're into it. Okay. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming. And next week we're going to talk about student loans and how to never pay a penny. If you're paying on student loans, come on. Come on. Hey, and we'll get into some of the details of that. So keep that on your mind and come back with any questions, thoughts, stuff like that. Thank you for the great questions. I hope you have a great week. You know how to get me in the classroom online in the forum, click and clack. Good stuff going in there. Thank you all for that. I'll see you next week. Have a great week, everyone.